Waiting for this to boot up. I made it quit. All right. This is where we were 2 weeks ago, right? At the end of class. And I moved the I hate having to change this every week. Can y'all see that okay? Or do I need to make it a little bit bigger for those in the back? Just a little bit bigger? Oh, the other one. That better?
Still make it a little bigger.
Sure. As soon as I figure out what font size everyone works with, and I can change all of them. So, come on. That didn't even change it. Let's go down a little bit. That better?
Much.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, we included the style sheet, right? Now which is right here. And then we did the default ASP. Let me come back over here and do these. Courier new, 20, bold, apply. And we included that header file. This is our main page right here. We included the header, which is the top part of the website, which included our style sheet. So basically you had the style sheet is nested, if you will, from our main page. So now what we needed to do is we needed to go out and find a JavaScript menu. And I'm just going to say we'll choose this blue one. And then what you do is we'll have to download these links. Save image as. And I'm going to put this in my web folder. I'm going to create a folder underneath it. And I'm going to call this images. So in my www root folder, which is under C inet pub, I created images folder, and I'm just going to store these images that it has me store. Okay. Now, We have our style sheet information. Let me get this bigger here. Okay. All I did was I clicked on the CSS link right here, which says that's the style sheet, cascading style sheet. So all I have to do is highlight all this information right here, copy it, and now I'm going to come back over here to my style sheet. And inside my style tag right here, I'm just going to paste that information so that when, and I'll just get rid of this comment tag. Now I have got the style for that menu bar saved. I've got the images, and then one thing you want to look for is in this style sheet where it was addressing it. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to find. Here's where I started the picture. Now notice it says URL is this. So I'm going to do images. So it's telling it it's saved in the images folder. Everyone with me? Yes, I am recording this.
Where did you go to get that? What site was that again?
Oh, this particular menucool.com. And then for everyone where you see this image name, you need to put images in front of it. Like right here, I have this one. And I don't know why the tick marks do not get into this one. So all I'm going to do is then save that. So my style sheet is now done. Now I'm going to go back to this horizontal menu page and I'm going to click the JavaScript area. Notice I got a lot of script information right here. So I'm going to copy this script and I want to create a new file. I want to call, and I'm going to call, need to start my script tag. And then I'm going to paste in that information. And I'm going to save this as menu.js. But I also need to come over here and do a new folder called JS. Like I told y'all last week, I wanted a JavaScript folder. So again, in the www root folder, you can create a folder called JS. And inside that is where I'm going to save my menu.js. Now when you're saving it, make sure your file type is all files. If it says text, you're going to have menu.js.txt and it won't work. So now I have my menu.js. So now I can come over here to my header file where I have my include. And all I have to do is just say JS menu.js. All right. All we're saying now is we're including that script into this website. Because all I'd done prior was just create a JavaScript page.
Okay, may I ask a question?
Sure.
All right, I'm at the site looking at, I clicked blue bubble, I'm not sure what you did. And
Okay.
I have source code, CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. Do
I-
I need every one of those?
Yes, you'll need every part of it. Because the JavaScript,
The
the-
HTML,
okay. CSS is just a style sheet. It just gives you the colors and where the images are located.
so we put that part in our style sheet.
That is correct. The JavaScript is what does the mouse over effect so that when you're moving the mouse over it, it'll do this kind of effect for you. That's all the JavaScript is going to do. It makes it a dynamic page. Then the HTML is what you actually put in the ASP. Yes.
Okay.
Is everyone with me now? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this div code.
Now, what about the images?
Yes, that's where I right-clicked on them.
That too.
Yes, you have to have those images.
Okay.
Right. You right-click on the images, save those images, and put those in that images folder, like I did earlier. So now we'll come back over here to this default page, and I'm going to come right here above this special one, and I'm just going to paste it in. Now I'm going to explain this to you. We have, you notice we have SSE 50 and SSES 50. Right? They're two different IDs. And we close these out with the two different divs. Right? So you have a nested division. These nested divisions are right here. So I'm sending the variable from this function, what it's going to return, back up to that SSE 50. In the style sheet, here's where your SSES 50 will give the style to that effect. Does that make sense? No? You got yes and no's? Okay.
I don't know what any of this is.
You don't know what a style sheet is?
No.
We covered that 2 weeks ago.
I mean, we covered it. I changed the color on two of my
Right.
two of my sentences,
Mhm.
but
That's what a style sheet
you're
is.
just kind of all over the place. I don't know where. It's hard to follow.
The style sheet is just how you change the look and the feel of the page. That's all it is. Plain and simple. You have, when you have the pound sign, that gives it an ID value or an identifier. So when you have a division on your default site, and I said my ID is either SSES50 or SSE50, which is just what happens to be their identifier that they did for the site, it will fall into if whatever's in that nested loop. So if I came in here, just as an example, and I put something else in this area right here, or I just put this line on line 12, it would only have the effect of whatever the style sheet is for the SSE50. It would not have SSES50 because it's not inside that division. All right. Now that we can say this, now we have our unnumbered list, a UL. And then we have our LIs, which is our list line items. Okay? UL just means, hey, I'm going to have a lot of different elements that I want to go individually put out. That's all it is. It's just a list. Pretty simple, right? Number 1 to 10, that would be a numbered list. These are just be like bullet points. That's what an UL stands for, unnumbered list. LI is a line item. So if it's inside that UL area, that line item matches up and will be listed underneath there as a subordinate to whatever that UL is. So if I had another UL underneath here, or nested inside that UL, then I would have a second drop down underneath that menu. Does that make sense? And I can put more list items there. So now that we've got all this saved, we should be able to come back over here and have our JavaScript menu right here. All right. Yes.
Does our menu need to look like that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I have
You
my
like I
menu
said,
and
you
it
can have it
does
horizontal
that,
or vertical.
But it doesn't look like that. It does that.
Uh huh.
It lights up and changes color.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely fine. I just chose this one out of the blue's my favorite color, so I just chose blue. I could have had black, red, purple, pink. I could have had big, small. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. So I did mine different. It does all that. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, Karen.
But we could take that one and completely change it.
Oh, exactly. You can. I want you to be able to do whatever you want with your site.
With our limited knowledge, okay? Or some of us have limited knowledge, okay?
Yeah.
No, I mean seriously, you can make it to be whatever you want it to be.
Well, but
If there's limited time and
Yeah.
knowledge, so we'll do the best we can.
I'm not an HTML person. I was in, like, this is my first web class, so
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know
mine too.
this stuff. I don't know the HTML. I don't know CSS. I don't know. It wasn't put out that it was a requisite for the class, so I didn't.
It's not a requisite for a class. This is a 1,000 level class. This is what you're learning in here. As part of this. There's no prereq to this.
There's no prereq for this
Nope.
class.
So we have right here, notice we have these 4 areas. And, wrong one. But you only see 3 going on here, right? Why is that? It's because this one has an identifier called class end. So it's saying, I'm ending my string of lists. Now you don't have to have that, but the reason it has it out there is so it gives you that extra. Hang on, I did it again. It gives you this extra block to look like this.
So if
Because
that
you
wasn't
would-
there, it would go to the very
you-
end. That third column would go to the very end.
All you would see is those 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's it. So that's why you put the class end, and it puts that end element on there. Are y'all with me there?
Mhm.
So basically you're faking it out saying you have another one. So if I wanted 2 more of these web menu ones, I wanted to make more links. I'm going to save it. Hit refresh. Now it looks a little stupid, but there we go. And again, the reason it looks stupid is because of the style sheet. I didn't change the width and everything like that. Don't worry about the look of your page. If you get the elements there, that's what I'm looking for. So that's what this is. And see, actually, it functions now.
Huh.
Don't ask me why. But see how it just minimized it a little bit more? Keep squeezing it until you get everything up there. And all I did was just add these. Now, how many of you are familiar with a hyperreference? Okay,
Sounds very familiar.
it's an anchor tag. That's what A stands for, is anchor. All a hyperreference is so long as it's inside this quote, it's going to go to that location, whatever's inside that quote. So, for example, if I did a hyperreference equals, open quote, Facebook.com, and then close it, when I click on that, and I can change the name out here where it's in black, and I say Facebook, it will link to Facebook. That's all it does.
And whatever's not in quotes will actually pop up on the actual button, right? So where it says JavaScript menus, if you change that to Facebook, it would pop up as Facebook.
And then change this to Facebook. I'm going to save it. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to refresh it. And now notice it says Facebook. So when I click here, it's going to take me to Facebook.com. Obviously, there's no Facebook.com. Well, it's trying to look for Facebook.com underneath my local host, which is actually wrong. I needed to put HTTPS. Yeah, let's make it secure. And then it should take me to Facebook.
Right.
Remember, just think of it as this way. A hyperreference tag, and it just froze. A hyperreference tag is only a link to something else. That's all it is. So whatever you link inside the quotes and you give it a name, the GUI is only going to show this name, but it will link to that. Yes?
So would I be making 8 pages within the www root thing and then just telling it to look for those?
Yes, and that's what I'm about to show you.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we'll do page1.asp. Let me get rid of these. And all I'm going to do is copy this 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And space 2, space 3, space 4, space 5, space. And then just change in here. Just like that. Okay. Now, well, instead of page 1, I'm going to make default this to default so that it will come back to the page that we're already on so that you don't lose that. Now, all you have to do is in your inetpub directory. I'm just going to copy that default.asp. And I'm going to make several copies. And I'm just going to call it, rename page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, not pager 7, and rename this one to page 8. Now that I have my pages here that match up to these links, if I come back here to localhost, I just go to like this, and everything's going to be the same on each one of these pages because I didn't change any of the pages. I just copied the default page over and over and over and over. So what you do then is you just go to page 1, rename on your text file right here, default, and then rename page 2, whatever you want to call it, the link for it. And now, when you change, I should have done this a little different because this is my menu. What I should have done was create a menu.asp page, which, let me just do that while I'm thinking about it. Let's go back to default. I'm going to take these right here, and I'm just going to come over to here, paste it in, and I'm going to save this as menu.asp. And so that what I can do, and I'm going to do an include here, and all I did was just add that includes. So I just made the menu page. I took all that segment of code that was in line 3 to whatever it was and moved it over to menu. So that when I'm on my default page, it's still here because it's menu. But what was happening is, see, notice when I went to page 2, I have the code in here, and it's back to page 1. So if I go to page 1, now I see default. It's because page 2, I had a static menu. Now you understand what I'm saying? It's easier to have those includes so that you make one change and it affects everything rather than having to change it all. Because now what I've got to do is I've got to come back here, and each one of these page ones that I just did, I have to delete so that I can come up here just so I can get this menu to work. You can understand how much of a headache this would cause if you had millions of lines of code.
Yeah.
So that's why it's easier just to do it now so I don't confuse y'all, even though okay, now that I've got them all on there, I can refresh this, and so if I come here, then default's all the way through because it had that menu ASP. So now I can, if I go to menu ASP, if I make a change here instead of page 3, I'm just going to call it Scott, and I'm going to save it, which is, now if I come back over here, refresh, I have Scott, but if I go to here, it's all the way through, and I'm not having to change pages every single time. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Where I have that one location to change everything instead of 9 locations or 8 locations to change everything. And so when you have your 8 pages, I should be able to go to your website and go, okay, you're on this page, then this page has something, this page has something. And it can be very little. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You can put a picture of your pet cat and say Roger. You know, I don't know if that's your pet cat's name, but just as an example, you're showing that you can put stuff on your page. All right? And that is to that extent of the Java menu. Everyone should be to this point. How many people got your site working like that? Adam? Ryan?
Very close.
Cole? Somewhat?
Very close.
Andrea, did you get it working that well?
I just had a question.
Yes.
What exactly did you pull out and use to create the menu.asp?
Oh, right here. Just that division from division. Yep.
If you also go to your menu.js.
Now let me blow this up real quick. Go to my menu.javascript.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it? That's their own JavaScript.
Yeah, you just copied.
Yeah, I just copied it in, put it in the script tags.
Did you add any other tags to it, or is that just?
Yeah, I created script above and a script below, and the closing script tag.
Okay, like,
Yeah, right here,
yeah.
and then it's closing. That's all I did.
Alright, well, I did that.
How do you get the navigation bar to center on the page? Mine will not center, it's on to the left of the screen.
Then just do this, and then after this div, close it out. You're just telling it to center everything inside those divisions. If it's that code is the same as yours, I don't know. It didn't want to do it? It may be something in the style sheet that's preventing it. I'll take a look at it in just a minute. Is there any questions on this that you're not afraid to ask? Because we're all afraid to ask questions. I know that. Please ask. That's what I'm here for.
When you get done looking at hers, can you come look at mine? 'Cause mine has.
Oh, I'll be glad to look at them. I still need to cover the other two. elements. Everyone okay?
Okay, when you're on the site, the tool site, and you're seeing choices between JavaScript menus and horizontal menus and web menus, what does that mean?
It's just the horizontal or the vertical, or
It
did you-
says JavaScript, it gives you choices, JavaScript menus,
Uh-huh.
horizontal menus, web menus.
I would stay away from web menus. But if you do JavaScript, that means the menu bar itself is coded in JavaScript, just like the one I just did. Horizontal menu is just mainly just a coded page with a style sheet only.
Okay, so
And-
you want to go for the JavaScript.
They run a little smoother. Yes, John.
Can you reset my virtual machine or whatever so I can get web access through my virtual machine? 'Cause I can't get
Is-
into anything. I can't email myself or anything. So.
Have you tried to reboot that internally on that image itself first?
No.
Try that and see if that works, because that's been helping a lot of people. And if that doesn't work, then I'll give you a new image, because it takes about 30 minutes for a new image. So I figured might as well try that first. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out here and I'm going to search for a PHP date time script. It's a simplistic script. So here's our PHP script right here. It says print date. Let me put it over a notepad. All right. All I did was I downloaded or copied over a PHP script. PHP scripts are very easy to identify because they start with a question mark and they say PHP. It's pretty easy, right? All we're doing is we're printing 4 lines. The first one is printing the date in a regular format. That's all it means. The one with the carriage return in, or not carriage return, but the backslash ends, or backslash in, gives me a new line. That's all it means. Print date, I'm delineating D so I can put a day, month, year, hour, second, I's for minute, S's for second, time. That's all that means. I want my date, comma, in the date, month, year, time format. Does everyone understand that? Y'all see the to delineate, because PHP is just like Linux, it is case sensitive. Okay, PHP is a CGI script. All CGI scripts are case sensitive. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to call this one, I'm going to do a save as time.php. Now I'm going to go, I'm going to save this. I'm going to go open page 2. And notice I have my header, my body, and everything like that. Now I'm going to include time.php. I'm just going to get rid of these other so not to confuse anyone. And save it. So now when I come to localhost, that's probably because I don't have PHP turned on. Let me take a look at that real quick. Yeah. It helps if you turn it on scripting for CGI. I'm pretty sure that's the problem. CGI script, where is it? I'll have to figure that out in a little bit. But what it is you would see it print out in the date, month, time format. It's just a setting in IIS, and I'm not going to take up your time to look for that. Any questions on how a PHP is set up? I mean, we'll look at the script again, but it's pretty straightforward. Minimize.
Will we need to change that setting in ours as well?
Yeah, as soon as I figure, tell it, I'll tell y'all what it is. And then all I did was just add that time.php in there. I'm sure it's something very minuscule. It maybe my include need to be instead of include file, it needs to be a different include. I'm pretty sure that might be what it is. If it's not the CGI, the CGI will look like it was working. All right. Now, let's look for a Perl login. Not what I want. Well, crap, I forgot. Got to do that with the database, and I don't want y'all to go in that far. So don't worry about the Perl login, because you have to have a database to pull the information out of for verification purposes. So we're not going to worry about the Perl login on your final. Do what? Someone say something? Is there any questions of how we include files and everything?
One question about whenever you saved all those pages in the www root.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that exactly? Did you just create?
I just
folders?
copied. I took the default. I copied it and then just pasted.
Okay, and then just renamed it.
Uh huh.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Justin.
You have to go into Windows Features and select Run CGI Script under the checkmark for application development for it to work.
And where at?
Yes. You have to go Start at the bottom.
Uh huh.
And then like you're adding extra features, so Control Panel and then Programs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You have to install CGI.
That's probably why it wasn't working. Is it working now for you?
I just found the answer. I hadn't done it yet.
I think I had it already in here, but let's see. I might have skipped that step. The CGI is running in IIS. It's running right there.
Alright, that's just what it said to look at first. And I was trying to see if there was something.
Yeah, because I turned all these on so that we wouldn't have that issue. Let's see if.
Question mark PHP include file name.
Include file name.
It's got a different,
Does it have a different PHP then?
yeah, it's got a different line altogether.
That's probably what it is. Because it needs to pull in a PHP file, not just the text that's in there.
Testing for.
I figured it was either that or the CGI. Is there any questions?
Can you go over the include file stuff about how much you're gonna, we've got now a menu ASP, a menu JS,
Mm-hmm.
how do we handle the menu ASP? Where do we put the include file?
You're going to put that on your
The
in
default?
it right underneath, like on this. Let me blow it up so you can see it a little better. You're going to put on whatever the page is, which would have been like the default page or page 2, 3, 4, whatever. All you're going to do is have the includer for the header, includer for the menu, which is going to be inside that body tag, and then you don't have to have that particular one because that's
Okay. So that means that the include for the menu.js has to go in the menu.asp? Is that how you do it?
no. This is just straight text. It will call it. That's part of this right here. When you have the style sheet, it'll come over here and it actually calls it. Where is it? That's a reference. Oh, I know. I put it up in the header. Is the script for it right here?
So the include file for the thing for the menu.asp is in the default,
Right.
and that one is in the header.
That is correct. And the header is actually inside of the default. It's just linked
And
to
I
it.
understand that, but I'm
Yeah, that's. Oh, I understand. You're just trying to look where everything's located at. An easier way to do that is to come over here to your site, right click, and go to View Page Source. And it's going to show you everything from the top to the bottom in order, all the codes. So you can see where those links will come into play. That's why when you build a website, you build one web page straight down. Get all the colors and everything you want on that one web page or that one, and then you go ahead and break up your sections. Just basically just draw a line, take out your code, print it off, and just start drawing lines and say, okay, I'm creating this .asp, this .asp, or this .html, or whatever you want to call it. And then once you have those files in those locations, then you have one main section, which you could call body.asp, and basically that's going to be what's in between your body tags for that particular page. Everything, and then you basically have set up your template for your entire website. Any other questions? Yes, John.
The hashtag thing that you were talking about earlier,
Oh, up here, like right here.
yes.
Okay.
What does that do?
All this does is identifies this as a identifier. It just makes it saying, if you do hashtags on Twitter, like, don't bother me, kind of hashtag. Well, then when you're actually down in the website and you call a division or a class or whatever, and you say ID, don't call me, whatever was up in that CSS area then is applied to that specific division.
I guess it's almost like the include file, how it calls it.
Yeah, it's just basically including back to that. Instead of rewriting out here, you could say background color equals da 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 da. You have one location to do it instead of having to do it for every time you do a division tag. That was the old way of doing it.
Cool.
The CSS style sheet put it all into one location to where you could just do it by an ID rather than saying, if I wanted this tag or this line to be a different color, this line to be a different color, all I have to do is put in a different division and I can just keep moving things up instead of having to copy and paste each single tag. Because you'd have to change your fonts, you'd change your colors. It was just a pain in the wazoo. I mean, you were writing, like for this, whatever you'd have div here, no kidding, when you start typing to be all the way over to here for that one line. So that's how much it minimized by just putting it into a cascading style sheet.
Is that like? So does that manipulate what you were talking about, the anchor tab, anchor tag?
Oh, the anchor tags right here? No, it doesn't manipulate any of these. I mean, you could change the font of the anchor tag if you wanted to, but the only thing you can change is what's in between here.
So what does the anchor tag do?
An anchor tag, all it does is identify, hey, here's a link to go somewhere. That's all it is.
Just a hyperlink?
Yeah, that's a hyperlink. That's all an anchor tag is.
Will you be able to rescue my code off my machine because it still isn't connected to the net?
Yeah, I should be able to get to it and take care of it for you here in just a minute. Is there any other questions? Your goal for the rest of tonight and next week, next Wednesday night, is going to be all lab night for you to work on this. I'm not going to give you any more stuff to work on.
So it would be a good time to come if we need help.
Yes, it'd be a great time to come if you need help. Because I will be here next Wednesday to sit down with you. Okay? It's all lab time next Wednesday for you to be able to get this done. And actually, I would highly encourage it so that you get better scores on your final exam or / final project.
I've got something wrong with mine.
No other questions? I'm going to go ahead. Yes, Anthony.
Since we're not doing the Pro login, do we need to do that part in the SAC?
No, no. You can, any identification of Perl, just forget it.
Not really.
Oh, and the essay, do you want it double spaced? How do you want it just turn in? Just however.
Yeah, just make it, I'm not going to put any APA requirements or anything like that on it.
You can help me for a minute? Like,
Okay, just a minute when I shut the recording off and stuff. Is there any other questions that, yes, Melissa?
Can you put a list of the requirements for the final OD2L?
Yes, I will do that here before we leave. I'll put it as a note
Thank you.
so that you're all, or not have with your cameras or, I know like 6 of you just took the pictures of it, but I'll put them out there specifically. I wanted to put it up there so I remembered what I wanted to talk to y'all about. All right? Any questions? Are y'all feeling a little bit better now about
Yeah.
the midterm, or the midterm? Seems like a midterm now. A final? It's not going to be as bad as what you think. I'm not going to say, oh, well, he or she did not get this tag correct, and I'm counting off. No. I wanted to make sure that you understood what kind of tag you're supposed to put there. You know, if you, for example, right here, if you only got L instead of LI, I know you were trying to identify as a list. That's fine with me. Your site may be broken, but you've made the attempt. Does that make sense? So don't fret too much about everything.